Hi, it's Dwyer. KeepingItFree.blogspot.com, a free site. Also, GamblersAdvisory.com, a free site. Remember, the opinion you should follow should be your own. Just consider this video to be a second opinion from a complete stranger online. Today is August the 9th, 2023. Let me just say, just on a macro view, and I believe it's very important before talking about or considering individual investments. And let me point out, nothing I say in this video should be construed as investment advice. Please do your own due diligence. But I believe it's very important to get a macro feel of the land. Let's do so here. Wages have not kept up with inflation. Understand that workers in general in the United States have lost purchasing power. So now we're getting strikes and big new multi-year labor deals. In June, New York City Mayor Eric Adams announced 20% raises for 11 labor unions, including the teachers union, which got a 20% pay hike over the next 5 years. In Los Angeles, city workers recently walked off the job for a day. Where I am here in San Jose, and understand San Jose is the largest city in the Bay Area, city workers are planning a 3-day strike for next week. Folks, let's just say there are things happening in labor markets. All of what I've described is inflationary. Higher prices, food prices, etc., cause higher labor demands, which will lead to some labor deals which we'll have to pay for. Now, my point to you, the takeaway from this video, is that all of this is extremely bullish for gold. It's extremely bullish for silver. And please note that silver has been down of late. It's also bullish for Bitcoin. What I want investors to consider, right, again, not investment advice, please do your own due diligence, is that platinum, which of course is scarcer than gold, has been down, and that copper, and understand EVs use much more copper than internal combustion engine vehicles, has been relatively flat. Now, for me, and I understand a lot of people will disagree with this analysis, and that's fine. It's a free country. But for me, the big question is whether the inflation caused by higher labor costs will be offset by the falling prices that I expect from the housing market and from the employment market. In other words, New York City teachers are going to get a 20% pay hike. Right? Will that be offset by the decreasing real estate prices in the New York tri-state area and by the increasing unemployment elsewhere in the labor market? Now let's talk about artificial intelligence. Now, I'm a YouTuber. I do videos on YouTube. I have a fair number of subscribers. And I was on a website the other day, and I started playing around to see if it could clone my voice. Right, folks? It cloned my voice in less than 5 minutes. Right? Even I thought that the voice it came up with And this was the free service. The voice it came up with was awfully close to my voice. Understand that there was a paid service where I could have given them more voice samples and had them come up with a more refined version of my voice. The clone that they came up with, I'm sure, would have fooled some of my friends. I need for folks to understand that this is text to voice. In other words, once you get a clone of someone's voice, and this will become commonplace, you could write out a script and have the system read that script back in the person's voice. Let me also point out, too, that we're now adding video to these voices. It is very easy and very cheap to create an avatar that you can superimpose a cloned voice on. Right? So if I wanted to have an avatar do this video, I could have just written out the script of this video. I could have fed it to a voice clone service that already had a cloned model of my voice. I could have had an actor or a cartoon figure, right, that's already digitized, move their lips to read in my voice what I just gave the AI outfit. Now, what this means is that the actors in Los Angeles, where I used to live in West Hollywood, I used to live in Marina del Rey, I used to live in Newport years ago. Voice actors in Southern California will be hurt by this, right? Just understand that as the technology matures, and it's cheap today, and as it jumps the fence into the video realm, and understand already today, I could pick an avatar of a good-looking actor and have them read electronically my written text and have the system convert it to voice. Just understand most actors will be hurt by this. Now, I know the Screen Actors Guild is putting up a good fight here, and they're trying to get concessions from studios, right, from signatories who recognize the union not to use AI to disintermediate voice actors and actors in general, right? Because the way it is right now is on the website I was playing around with, they have a clone of my voice already in less than 5 minutes. And understand, people could use my voice for whatever script they have, right? Well, I need for people to understand that long term, and let's just look at this clearly. Given the existence of this technology, whatever is negotiated between the Screen Actors Guild and the entities that recognize the Screen Actors Guild is going to fail long term, right? We understand that the real Hollywood isn't Beverly Hills, Bel Air, Pacific Palisades, West Hollywood, Malibu, right? What young people think of as Hollywood when they pack up a knapsack, hop in a car, drive to Hollywood, and hope that they're the next big star, right? We understand that the real Hollywood are areas like Studio City, Burbank, Culver City, middle-class areas where screenwriters, struggling actors, cinematographers, struggling agents, stuntmen, and women live. Think Glendale, think Tarzana, think Torrance, think Reseda, think Glendora, think Venice. right? A need for people to understand that the median income in Los Angeles doesn't match that of Orange County, which is right south of LA, right? Hollywood is a very tough place in which to support your family. Not everyone is an A-list actor with a view of downtown. Now, because of the current technology, there will be increased inequality, right? As AI asserts itself, the value added of the studios and the groups that recognize the Screen Actors Guild is going to diminish, as filmmakers will face greater competition from filmmakers on YouTube who are able to compete by using AI and clone voices that folks can develop in the first 5 minutes. Just understand Tucker Carlson's new media venture on X, which, according to reports Peter Thiel is on the verge of investing in, will be only one of many new media ventures, right? Multi-million-dollar studios will no longer be needed. Anyone using Zoom understands how now you can create digital backdrops that look great, that make you look like you're on a beach or overlooking the Golden Gate Bridge or in a high-rise. And of course, users can do that cheaply, now with fake voices and fake avatars. So, you're going to have more ESPN-type media layoffs as more creators migrate to YouTube and other services that allow them access to advertising sponsors. So I need for people to understand that we're going to have a lot of price swings, and they're going to be severe. Right now, the commercial real estate market in downtown San Francisco, a glamour city, right? Some spots in San Francisco, you can see the Golden Gate Bridge. You can see the Bay Bridge, right? Where the Giants play, where the Warriors play, those stadiums and arenas are right on the water. You have a rich history in San Francisco that's hard for other cities to duplicate. Tony Bennett recently died. We all know Tony's song, I Left My Heart in San Francisco. And of course, he sang it decades ago. The history here, the cultural history, is rich. The educational surroundings couldn't be better, right? You have Berkeley, you have Stanford University, you have the University of San Francisco. You have an educated populace here. And yet in this vibrant metropolis, commercial real estate downtown is in shambles. Understand, far fewer people are riding Bay Area rapid transit. It can't compete with the current technology. It can't compete with Zoom, Google Meet, Microsoft Teams, which allow people to work from the comfort of their own homes, right? It allows people this summer to save on the cost of a babysitter because now they can be at home supervising their own kids while also appearing remotely at the office. Right, folks? This is going to disintermediate a lot of folks. Right? The small shops that feasted on workers during the work week in downtown San Francisco are going to have fewer customers. Parking lots that rely on people driving their cars to work from Marin County and other surrounding areas, Silicon Valley, right? They're going to have fewer cars. There's going to be less revenue. There's going to be upheaval. And of course, in Southern California, we're going to have a hard time telling what's real and what's created by artificial intelligence. Those special effects that a generation ago required millions of dollars to make can be done now convincingly using computer-generated technology that folks with an Apple iPhone can create. Right? So I need for everyone to buckle up. What we've known is not going to be what's happening in the future. Just think about your own television watching habits. Now everything is on demand. I'm a fan of Columbo, right? I'm a true crime buff. Now I can literally go through and watch every episode of Columbo. Understand, Freevee on Amazon right now allows you to watch a huge assortment of shows, which would have cost prohibitively more to watch in the past. And of course, it's free, we'll put that in quotes, on Amazon's platform. Right? Netflix, which was a subscription site, is now embedding ads in its offerings and reducing the price of its offerings because of the revenue it's getting from ads. Folks, that trend's going to continue. You already have Pluto TV. You have access to more entertainment digital content now than you have ever had at any time in the past. There was a time when I had a DVR and I thought I was balling because it allowed me to tape up to 40 hours of entertainment. And I thought, wow, 40 hours, that's almost 2 days worth. Right? Just understand that's laughable by today's standards. I don't have to tape anything. I can stream everything. Right? Just understand that with those advancements are going to come slimmer and slimmer profit margins. It's going to wipe out a whole level of worker from the system. I'm guessing ESPN looked at some of their analysts. Many of them did great jobs, but many of them were making multi-million-dollar deals. And I'm sure they realized, wow, are people on our platform to watch this celebrity making $3 million a year on a show with other celebrities making millions of dollars a year? Or is this setup placing us at a disadvantage versus YouTubers who are pulling in hundreds of thousands of views with a cost model that's substantially lower than our cost model? Understand, before, people needed to be on a network to get nationwide distribution. Now you can be online with global distribution. Right? So expect upheaval. Know what's true. Know what's not. Understand that you can have the best union representation in the world. They will be unable to stop people from using technology to clone voices, to reduce costs, to have avatars, to create studio settings in their living room in order to compete with you. That's how I see it. For investors, let me just point out that we should expect more city walkouts in more cities throughout the United States. I've mentioned San Jose and Los Angeles because I'm here on the West Coast and that's the news I'm getting. Just understand, as workers in your city get 20% pay hikes over the next 5 years, as several unions have in New York City, that's going to place pressure on the tax base at a time when revenue from commercial real estate areas is going down. Right now, all I'm saying is when people are getting 20% pay hikes, city workers in big cities, that's inflationary. If you were misled into believing that the Fed has complete control and ability to dampen inflation in a manner that's lineal, and that Powell will be able to get us closer and closer to our 2% inflation target over the next 18 months. I'm just here to tell you that that's not the way markets work. Right? Powell can't predict that city workers in San Jose are going to be on a 3-day strike next week. That city workers in San Jose and elsewhere are looking at other cities like New York City and see that the unions there got 20% pay raises over the next 5 years. Union leadership is accountable to union membership, and they want to deliver. So when cities are giving workers 20% increases, there's going to be pressure on the union leadership in your city to deliver a similar 20% bump, even when we understand that's going to cause unemployment elsewhere. That's going to pressure non-unionized families who have to foot the bill for these cities workers that much more. Right? So inflation historically has come in bursts. I'm telling you, I'm a child of the 1970s. The Fed never got control over inflation throughout that decade. Right? Let me also point out, too, that things come on a lag. I mentioned the 1970s. Understand the inflation in the 1970s was caused in part by the cost of the Vietnam War, which we were in from the 1960s. Right? Just understand that in the system already are stress points that will hit the market in the months to come. You should anticipate fluctuating price levels. It wasn't so long ago that we heard from the powers that be, the Fed, etc., that the inflation was transitory. How did that work out? If they didn't have credibility then, why do you think that they have credibility now? Use your own two eyes. Incorporate things like labor deals, paying 20% bumps over the next 5 years into your own understanding of economics. Right? However great the leadership of the Screen Actors Guild looks on film, on TV and news reports, just understand that they're up against technology. A technology that can clone voices in less than 5 minutes, convincingly, where the person with the voice says, yeah, that's right, that does sound like me. Right? You can imagine what's going to happen in terms of the cost cutting that's going to happen across the board globally in the entertainment realm. Right? I'm just telling you, there's going to be a lot of upheaval because of the rapid growth of technology. And folks, those bursts in innovation are going to continue to come. And they're going to continue to upset prices. And they're going to continue to upset the value of commercial real estate, even in downtown vibrant cities like San Francisco. That's how I see it. Let me hear from you. I hope you leave your comments in the comment section of this YouTube video. Let me just say too, that if you, like me, expect inflation to come in bursts, right? There'll be inflationary times. There are deflationary parts of the economy, right? Let's just say it's unclear how it's going to play out. If you feel that the bond market right now might be mispriced, if you're expecting the yield inversion to revert over time and for there to be more changes, then there are a lot of big time investment opportunities out there in these turbulent times, including gold, including silver, including Bitcoin. That's how I see it. Let me hear from you. I hope you leave your comments in the comment section of this YouTube video. Thanks for stopping by.